296. We've just shot a quarter MOA group with this little old Tikka 270. This is at 100 yards as well, guys. Always test your groups at 100 yards. Any other distance, don't mean nothing. Got to be 100 yards. That's the industry standard for everything. So what's the point in doing anything else? Means nothing. Hey guys and girls, King here from Tassie Hunting. Today we have a 270 Winchester. It's a early Tikka T3, timber stock. Nice little cheek piece on it. It's a very solid old rifle, this one. How this came about, this is one of my old man's good mates, rifles, and he watched the episode on long range hunting. And he's always been a deer hunter, but his furthest range is about 200 yards. And the furthest deer he's ever shot is 260 yards. So he's never had to shoot long range, but the long range hunting video that I done interested him, and he decided he wanted to get this old girl back out of the safe and have a bit of a play with it. So he asked me, would I be able to do something for him with the rifle. He wants to shoot it out to be comfortable, you know, out to 300 yards. Absolute maximum of 400 yards. So I said, not a problem, we'll have a look at it. So yeah, what we have, it's a Tikka T3. It's running a Nightforce SHV 4-14 by 56. Beautiful scope. I love these scopes. They work really, really well. It was sitting in some Burris bases with some Leopold caps on it, which had no adjustability in it at all. They're just rubbish. So I said, first thing we have to change is the scope mounts. I want to put some tallies on it. He said, not a problem, do what you have to do. The other thing, it had a sloppy old bipod on it, Spiker or one of those rubbish brands. I said, that's got to go. We put a Harris on it. You need a nice sturdy platform. He said, not a problem. Put a Harris on it. Another thing it has, it's got one of these pop down things here. They're called a ZP1. They're average at best, guys. If you can get a rear bag, heaps better setup than these. They're not real good. I've seen a few of them, and yeah, I don't rate them at all. Anyway, that's just my opinion. So we're going to use a rear bag. He's going to get that set up as well, and we're going to get him out to 400 yards. The ammunition we're running is Deer Season XP 130 grain. They'll be absolutely fine to that distance. They have a BC of 450. They've got a massive ballistic tip on them. They will work excellent on fallow deer. So first thing I'm going to check, since setting the scope up and stuff, we have to re-sight it in. So I'm going to sight it in, and then I'm going to check, do a 3-shot group. We'll see if it actually does like the ammo that is provided. It needs to be probably to 400 yards. We need it about an inch. If we can get an inch group at 100, 3 shots, I'll be happy with that to 400 yards. All right, let's send one down range. See how this 270 Winchester performs. .2837. The box is saying 3060. So looks like Winchester isn't immune to lying either. Hornady are terrible for it. Lots of other brands are as well, but Hornady is notoriously the worst. This is quite a bit down though. So automatically, if you was to go off the box, it'll put you out by a lot. The only 2 brands of ammunition that I've seen that have actually registered the same on the box is Browning and also Barnes. Have both been spot on with 2 different loads I've tested in different cartridges. Anyway, I'll go and check this 0, and then we'll come back and shoot a 3-shot group. Well guys, that bore sight was pretty good. It's fairly central. All I have to do is come up 5 MOA and we should be pretty close. All right, let's do a 3-shot group. Unbelievable. These Tikkas are off the shelf, probably the most accurate rifle I've ever tested. There are a few other exceptions, of course, but consistently the Tikkas are just always hammers. That group's going to be close to half MOA. Factory Winchester ammo. Time and time again I see people cooling the barrel between shots. It's something I hammer on about quite a bit. If you've watched any of my videos, you always hear me when I'm doing 3-shot groups. I never cool the barrel between shots. And for hunting rifles, you do not want to do that. If a rifle and a barrel can't put 3 shots together, no matter what the cartridge is, there's something wrong. It doesn't like that ammunition. There is no point cooling the barrel between shots just to try and get a good group. I watched this one guy the other day, Gavin from Ultimate Reloader. The guy builds a lot of very, very high-end rifles. He was talking to a guy, he built a 6.5 PRC for him, and he admitted to waiting 10 minutes between each shot to get a 3-shot group that measured half MOA. And they were real happy with that. You're talking probably a $10,000 rifle. What a dork. All right, let's go and check this out. So this is 4 shots. So averaging 2860, so that's an actual average of 2880. 180 feet a second off the box claim. All right, let's go and check out this group. Yeah. So that was where I was aiming to start with. That was a bore sight. I brought it up 5 MOA. Aimed here. And that's our 3-shot group. Right there. All right, well, 0.0 calipers at 277, which is the 270 caliber. 0 that. Let's measure this group outside to outside. Look at that. .296. Whichever way you put it. 296. There you go. Quarter MOA. With an old Tikka Hunter. Oh, I love it. All right, I'm going to 0 this now. We're going to go to 200 and we're going to put them on plate. I've got the 8-inch gong, which is what we use here for testing in the field, for testing in the field, because the 8-inch gong represents the kill zone on our fallow deer. So once again, no point testing on something that's not realistic, and no point kidding yourself. So I'm going to check at 200 yards straight up. We'll see how good our 0 is, and then we'll go back from there and check the capabilities of this little Tikka 270 Winchester. It's actually a very nice rifle to shoot. Yeah, quite surprising actually. I've shot other 270s over the years, Rugers, Savage, different things like that. Quite horrible, to be honest. Carl Gustav custom I used to own before we put a brake on that thing. That was horrible. Yeah, so this little Tikka is a very nice rifle. It's been a pleasure to shoot. Anyway, let's take it out to 200 and then we'll step back from there and we'll see if we can get to 400 yards. That's how far he wants to be able to shoot it in perfect conditions. And he wants to practice to get out to that range. So I'm going to make sure it's capable for him and then we'll give it back. All right, let's see if this 270 is somewhere in the ballpark for our 200 0. That'll do me. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. All right, let's go back. We'll go back to 300. See if we can hit it at 300. Check the dial up, see if we're still on. All right, we're back at 300 yards. So this makeshift dial up that I've done for this rifle, it's telling me at 300 yards, it's dropping 7.4 inches. So I have to dial 2 1/4. I'm going to dial 2 1/4, do dead hold, centre of plate. There's a little bit of breeze cutting around that bank up there, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just do 2 1/4. We'll go dead hold, see how we go. Beautiful. Height's good, but you can see it's hit left edge of plate. As I said, up around that bank up there, I can see the wind is blowing from right to left, so it's pulled it across that plate a bit. But we're good for height. All right, we're at 400 yards. 400 yards in the field, guys, is no easy shot, believe me. Laying down prone, using a hunting rifle, hunting ammunition, off a bipod, not a bench. We've got a right to left. I reckon it's about, I'm gonna say 5 or 6 mile an hour. This is a problem when you don't know the rifle. It's hard enough when you know your own rifle. And I don't know the cartridge very well, 270. It's not going as fast as I thought they would be, which is what I've actually tested with a few others. They seem to be always down, the factory stuff. 400 yards is about 22 inches of drop. It's calling for 5 1/4 MOA, but because of the right to left, that will hold the bullet up. I'm going to bring it down half MOA, and with that breeze being a right to left value, I'm going to hold full plate. So I'm going to hold 8 inches off the centre to the right hand side of that plate. And we'll see how we go. Alrighty, that was at 200 when I checked it. Happy with that. That was where we hit at 300. So happy with that for height. That bit of wind drift. Anyway, that wraps up the setup of the 270 Winchester. My old man's mate can now go and test that out himself. He's got plenty of ammunition, so he can work his way out further and further, out to that 400 mark, or to wherever he's comfortable or wherever he's able to hit. But the rifle is now set up for that. I'll give him all the dial-ups for that. And yeah, happy days. I've enjoyed shooting that 270 Winchester. That's actually a very nice little rifle. So yeah, if you happen to stumble across a 270 Win in the Tikka T3 and you're looking for a 270, very highly recommend that. That's one of the nicest 270 Winchesters I have shot. So yeah, very nice rifle. All right guys, thanks very much for watching.